There are three that bear record in heaven: the Father, the Word, and the Spirit. We know who the Word is. It's Jesus, based on St. John, where he says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. That's Jesus. So there are three that bear record in heaven. Now, the spirit of Antichrist, therefore, would be a spirit that would say there is no triunity of God, and number two, would say that Jesus is not the Son of God. Now, of all religions in the world that exist, that absolutely deny any form of the Trinity of God and that deny that He is the Son of God, the premier religion that has over 1.4 billion people in it is Islam. If you were to talk to a Muslim, you would find out, if they're moderate, that they would say that Christianity and Islam are closely connected. We believe in the same God, the God of Abraham. They believe in the Torah. They believe in the Psalms and the four Gospels. The only thing is, they believe that our translation of the Bible has been changed by the Jews, that it's not the real translation, that the Quran has the original version in it. But they would also say that you believe in fasting, we believe in fasting, you believe in praying, we believe in praying, you believe in tithing or charity and offerings, we believe in tithing, charity and offerings, you believe in angels, we believe in angels, you believe in judgment, we believe in judgment, you believe in hell, we believe in hell, you believe in paradise, we believe in paradise. And I've heard them go down the list, and I'd say, interesting, wow, interesting, wow, we really do believe a lot of the same thing. Then I'd say this: what do you think about Jesus? When we get to Jesus, here's what happens. There's a whole change. I would say Jesus was conceived of the Holy Spirit through Mary. They would say, the Quran says that. I would say that He was born through the Holy Spirit supernaturally. The Quran says that. I would say He's the Son of God. Hold it. That's where it stops. Because they do not believe that Allah or God has a son, that He is not begotten, nor does He begot. Therefore, Jesus was never the Son of God. He is equal to one of the 27 great prophets that Islam calls the great prophets, including Abraham, Moses, David, etc., Noah. But however, He cannot be the Son of God because God has no son. Now there, my friend, is the sticking point. And there, my friend, is where all of the arguments are coming down right now, even in the United States of America. Because if you do away with Jesus being God's Son, you have to do away with His priesthood. If you do away with His priesthood, you have no way to get to heaven. So then you've got to come up with your own way of getting to heaven. The saddest thing I ever heard a Muslim tell me was this year in Jerusalem, when he and a Muslim friend of mine invited me to dinner. And this guy is, I'm telling you, he is like a true friend. He's one of the friendliest men I've ever met in my life. And you can talk about the things of God and you can watch his eyes well up with tears. One of the saddest things was when I looked at my friend and said, how do you know you're going to heaven? And he looked at me and he said, I don't. And I said, no, wait a minute. You're a practicing Muslim. You go to the mosque. You take a % of the total money you make every year and give it to charity. How do you know you're going to heaven? Here's what he said. He said, when I die and I step on the scales, if I have done good deeds, enough good deeds, it will outweigh anything bad I've done, then God will give me access to paradise. Now, can I say something to you? Can you imagine having a belief system or being a part of a religion that you don't know the whole time you're living where you're going? Can you imagine the misery you would have? Can you imagine the pressure you would be under every day for good works to make sure you would make it into paradise one day? Now, on the fanatic side of Islam, they have a way that will guarantee you paradise. I'll let you guess what that is. Jihad, killing innocent people. You strap yourself down. If you've ever watched TV and you wondered how these mothers can get so excited about their kids blowing themselves up, here's why they get excited about it. Because among the Hamas and Hezbollah and the Shia radicals and even Sunni radicals, if you die in a jihad, if you blow yourself up killing innocent people, it guarantees you automatic entrance into paradise. Those young boys are all taught this, that if they die in a jihad, if they kill Jews, blow up a bus, whatever they can do, if they do that, they will automatically go to heaven, to paradise, and there are 72 full-bodied, I'll let you guess what that means, virgins, in linen that will undress, and they will have sexual relations, and they become a virgin again after they've had sex. Meaning, every suicide bomber that's ever blown himself up in Iraq, Iran, or Israel, anywhere else in the world, believed that the moment he left his body, that he got 72 women surrounding him. Now, you take a little boy in a refugee camp that has no money, has no hope of a future because they are keeping him poor. They can always raise up suicide bombers. I'm simply telling you the truth. And so these boys think that, now not only does the boy allegedly get 72 virgins, but the family gets 25 family members who automatically have access to paradise. They don't have to worry about standing on the scales and being judged. They don't have to worry about whether they make it or not. So the mama's boy just blew himself up. She comes on CNN News. I'm so happy. He's a shaheed. He's a martyr. Why is she happy? Because now she believes that her son's death has just given her access to paradise. How weird. God sent His Son to shed His blood to guarantee you access to heaven, and Islam thinks they have to kill their sons to get there. See what a twist it is. See how corrupted it's become. See the difference between the two belief systems. Now, going back to this, and I want you to remember the things I said because it's going to come into play in a few moments. The word antichrist in Greek is the word anti, which means to oppose or instead of, and Christos, which means the anointed one. So it actually translates as to oppose the anointed one or to be instead of the anointed one. Antichrist is someone who will oppose the real Christ, or come saying he is in place of that person. So that's a definition of that. Key points. Number one, the Antichrist is coming, and there are many Antichrists in the world. And he is one of those that Matthew 24 warned about, coming saying, I am Christ, and deceiving how many? Many, not a few, deceiving many. And you're going to see more things like that happening. Okay, number two, the Antichrist spirit will deny that Jesus is the Son of God and that He is related to the Father. Number three, the Antichrist is now working. Now let's go over this real quickly. The phrase is first mentioned by John, the phrase Antichrist. We read those scriptures to you. The first symbolism of him is seen in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 8, chapter 8, verse 9, as a beast with 10 horns. The first prophecy about him is probably, and there's other references we could allude to, given in Isaiah chapter 14, if you read that in the King of Babylon. And the first revealed full identity of him is revealed in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. In the scriptures, now this is very important that you hear this. Jesus Christ has many scriptures that allude to Him in the Old Testament. It won't say Jesus. It won't say, but like it says, He shall be born in Bethlehem in the book of Micah. He'll be traded for 30 pieces of silver. He will be buried in a rich man's grave. By His stripes you were healed. These are scriptures about the Messiah. Now Josh McDowell will tell you there's hundreds of prophecies alluded to, but he can pinpoint over, I think it was 38 or 39 major ones that absolutely Jesus fulfilled. Now, Jesus has more prophecies about Him than anybody, is what I'm trying to tell you. The second group of people that have more prophecies are Abraham and Moses. Now, what I mean by that is their names are mentioned so much throughout the Old Testament and even in the New Testament. They are very common. Now, what I'm going to tell you amazed me. I was sitting at a desk meditating on this, and it struck me. Are you ready for this? Shout yes. Do you know who has more predictions predicted about Him outside of those men I just mentioned? The Antichrist. Do you all understand how much Bible prophecy is taken up about this guy? And Jesus knew that when He said, when it comes to that time, except the days be shortened, there will be no flesh saved. He said, then shall be a time of trouble such as was not since there was a nation or ever shall be. Now for people who thinks that everything's going to get better, the Jehovah Witnesses, I believe it's those guys who believe that we're in the millennial reign right now and Satan's bound. God help us when He's loosed. And there are people that are like Kingdom Now preachers who preach that everything's going to get better. One guy got on a national Christian TV program and made this statement. I could not believe it because Larry or Mel or someone came to my office, I don't remember who it was, and said, did you hear this prophecy? He prophesied that this year the world. Now, this is worldwide TV. This year,